North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump meeting for dinner in a few minutes, and we have some footage coming in from Vietnam as the two leaders get ready for that meeting, the first meeting in 8 months. We are showing you the site of the hotel. Trump is ready to depart from the JW Marriott, I believe, Chung-hee, correct? Looks like a lot of bodyguards there ready to escort the VIPs out. Chung-hee, could you fill us in on the situation there?
I'm thinking that the guards over there are North Korean guards. I'm really not sure.
It looks like the badge shows a North Korean flag there,
So
yes.
this may be the Melia Hotel instead of the JW Marriott, thinking that the North Korean guards are standing at the front. But yes, in about 15 hours' time, according to the schedule that we received from the reporters on the ground, it's believed that Trump could have left the JW Marriott Hotel 5 minutes ago, but maybe that didn't happen yet. And on the screen, we're seeing North Korean guards standing with a couple of vehicles, possibly waiting for the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to come out of the Melia Hotel in Hanoi. So the venue for tonight's one-on-one brief conversation, the 20-minute long one between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
And we were just learning that President Donald Trump has already departed for the venue.
He left from the JW Marriott Hotel 5 minutes ago, according to the schedule, and that is the Melia Hotel in Vietnam. So if I could just talk about the Metropole Hotel, where Kim and Trump are going to meet for the first time, this hotel is 5 minutes away from the Melia Hotel where Kim Jong-un is staying. So, you know, they're expected to arrive at the Metropole Hotel by 6:30 maybe, local time. So that's about 30 minutes away from now. So Kim Jong-un could be leaving right now to arrive at the Sofitel Legend Metropole in 30 minutes. And Trump already left the JW Marriott Hotel. Oh, it takes Trump 30 minutes to move over to the Metropole, and it takes 5 minutes for Kim Jong-un because they're staying at different hotels and their distances are different.
So naturally, Kim Jong-un got the quarters that's closer to the actual meeting venue, so that there will be less security concerns. And of course, we've seen bodyguards running alongside his motorcade. That doesn't happen to a great long distance, of course. And Dr. Woo Jung-yeop is also joining us here in the studio with us. Dr. Woo, how do you anticipate the first face-to-face will lead into some amicable talks tonight?
It's like after 206 days after their first meeting in Singapore last year. And everyone expected that this second meeting should result in some kind of more concrete outcome this time. So this might be the beginning of that process. So we don't know yet whether they are really going to discuss the subject over the dinner tonight, or they are going to just exchange their greetings and say nice things to each other and hope for best for the tomorrow's meeting. But this is going to be the beginning of the process, I guess.
It's quite interesting saying nice things to each other, something that we did not expect in 2017, when there's so much animosity between them. Little rocket man was the term that Donald Trump used to say, but now it's turned to an economic rocket for North Korea in these days.
That's right, great economic powerhouse, talking about economic potential.
Right.
Trump referring himself as a person who's an expert in terms of, you know, looking at, you know, the values of land and like countries and stuff. He says North Korea has a lot of economic potential. And he actually tweeted that once again this morning. He said, you know, Vietnam is growing fast. It has achieved a rapid economic growth. It's a model that North Korea could follow after. And we are about to see the leaders sit down and talk about that once again.
Right. Dr. What do you make of the fact that Kim Jong-un plans to stay 2 more days after the big event is over in Vietnam?
So even though the main purpose of visiting Vietnam is to have a summit with President Trump, the format of visiting is at the invitation of Vietnam's government as an official visit to Vietnam. And but the Vietnamese leader was overseas when Chairman Kim arrived in Vietnam on 26. So I think that they need to have some kind of official visiting schedule after the summit with President Trump on today and tomorrow. So I think that is why Chairman Kim is going to stay 2 more days, March 1st and March 2nd, even though the President Trump is believed to leave in the afternoon of tomorrow.
And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un was educated overseas, and he has shown the capacity to try and absorb new ideas and new economic models.
So in this year's New Year's address this year, that Chairman Kim emphasized actually 2 things. One is economy and one is socialism. So it was reported by Wall Street Journal that President Trump chose Vietnam because this might be the strong case to make for Kim Jong-un, because Vietnam is keeping its socialist regime while it opens its economy to develop its nation's economy. So I think the President Trump wanted to show this kind of development to Chairman Kim Jong-un, and probably Chairman Kim Jong-un is going to see what kind of things can be emulated by North Korean regime, because the characteristics of Vietnamese regime is different from North Korea's.
Right. I understand the traffic conditions will be controlled strictly to ensure a smooth ride to the venue. Jung-hee?
That's right. They're supposed to, both U.S. President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are expected to arrive at Sofitel Legend Metropole in about 8 minutes' time if everything goes as scheduled. But we are hearing that U.S. President Trump left his hotel, but Kim Jong-un is still not appearing yet.
All right, let's go to our reporters who are at the scene in a while. But first, before that, let's talk a little bit about Vietnam's significance to North Korea and the fact that in the eyes of the U.S., they could show that history can repeat itself as there were animosity between Vietnam and the U.S. Right, before that, Jung-hee, hold that thought. We are going to connect right to our reporters who are standing by in Hanoi right now. Our Ji-won, who is at the scene in Hanoi right now. Ji-won, what are the leaders doing at this point? Could you tell us more?
Well, Daniel, I'm standing in front of the Sofitel Legend Metropole, where North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump are going to have their first meeting in Hanoi. And I don't think you can see it from here, but just across the street, where it's a few meters closer to the hotel, the street is absolutely fully packed with media, locals, and tourists trying to catch that historic moment of the leaders' meeting. Now, there are fences, ropes, and lines blocking the roads from about 100 meters away, but still people are waving the North Korean and American flags as if to cheer for a successful summit. Now, we just heard, like you said, President Trump has left JW Marriott Hotel and is headed this way. And as you've been watching the footage, we don't know when Kim Jong-un will start heading over. But his hotel is just 1 kilometer away from here, so he is likely to leave in a few minutes later.
Right, he could be fashionably late. Ji-won, can you give us a run-through of today's events so far?
Sure, Daniel. We are less than 30 minutes away from the first part of the leaders' meeting tonight, and they will have their one-on-one sit-down first. Now, this is similar to what we saw back at the Singapore summit before they started their official talks. Now, this will then be followed by a social dinner, which will include 2 officials from each side. From the north, it's going to be Kim Yong-chol, Vice Chairman of North Korea's ruling Workers' Party Central Committee, and Lee Yong-ho, the regime's foreign minister. And from the U.S., it'll be Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Mick Mulvaney, acting White House Chief of Staff. Now, Daniel, I'll tell you a funny anecdote about this dinner. And CNN says a source close to the planning of tonight's event said that the chefs had a hard time getting the menu approved, as officials from both countries, especially the White House, kept adjusting the menu, ironically to make it super simple. For your information, last time in Singapore, the leaders had a mixture of international dishes during their lunch, from Korea's stuffed cucumber to beef short rib confit.